There's a story. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. It's Rabbi Saadia Gaon. Saadia Gaon, he was one of the Gaonim. They lived like more than 1,000 years ago, mostly in places which now called Iraq, after the temple was destroyed. So a lot of the Babylon, the Jews went there. Not after the first temple was destroyed, all the Jews were taken to Babylon. But after the second temple was destroyed, Jews get scattered all over the world, and a lot of them settled in Babylon. Those were the Gaonim. They were called the Gaonim. There was Hai Gaon and Saadia Gaon and Amram Gaon. Okay, Saadia Gaon. He wrote a book also called the Rasad Reb Saadia Gaon, where he explained every letter, 613 letters in the Ten Commandments, what each letter corresponds to which commandment. Huh? He was holy. He was a genius. He was okay. So the story is that he had pupils. He had a lot of pupils, and he was a very well-known person, and etc. Of course, this was in Iraq. This was like 1,000 years ago, 1,100 years ago. So that the means of communication and transportation weren't exactly the same thing as now. I don't think they had newspapers or whatever, and whatever it was. But he had a lot of pupils. His name got around, and he had pupils, and he wrote books, and he was just an amazing genius. One day, two of his pupils took a stroll. They were walking in the mountains in Iraq. I guess in Iraq there's mountains. That's the way the story goes. There's mountains and there was the snow. And they heard a rustling sound, couldn't figure out what it was. So they went to a place and they peeked through, like between these two rocks or whatever, and they saw that there was the great holy of holies, Rabbi Saadia Gaon, and he was rolling around in the snow. It used to be, it's not done anymore. It's not encouraged anymore. I don't think there's any groups in Judaism that do this, but there used to be a thing called self-mortification. And there were people who were big tzaddikim, and they were able to, to fast and to mortify themselves and to this, and it would actually refine their souls. Nowadays, it just makes you more of an egotist. You fast, you think you're better than everybody else, and makes you miserable also. It makes you miserable. You don't want to talk to anybody. But back then, it wasn't that way. It was a means of, you call it repentance, or self purification, purification. So the pupils were amazed. Here is Reb Saadia Gaon doing something which usually is only done if a person did a sin or something. So they waited a couple of days, and afterwards they went to him privately, and they said, Rabbi, we want to confess something to you. We went for a walk in the morning, the evening, whenever they went to a walk in the mountains, and we saw you rolling around in snow, which is a thing of penitence. Could you tell us why you did something? Maybe we should do it also. So he said, no, it's not a thing for you. And I want to tell you what I did. What was I was trying to repair a fault. A fault or something. What did I do? Said, about a year ago, I accepted on myself exile. Great rabbis and great holy people, they would accept on themselves what was called exile. They would leave wherever they were, where they were receiving all sorts of praises and adulation and attention and honor. Everybody was honoring them and everything like that. And when they felt that maybe it was going to their head a little bit, maybe they were getting a little bit egotistical, they were expecting, everybody to stand up for them, and they got angry when they weren't, called by the proper name or the proper title. They were afraid that they would begin to do this, so they would accept on themselves exile. They would go to a place where nobody recognized them, and they would mingle with the regular, normal Jews. Right? What's this? Oh, missiles. They're shooting missiles. Hear that? I thought we were finished with the missiles. I guess we're not finished. Okay. Wow. Okay. I thought we were finished with the missiles. Can you hear it? Sirens in the background. The Houthis, they're the ones that shoot missiles nowadays. There's also, who knows what's going on. To date, they've shot more than 30,000 missiles into Israel. You realize what miracles we're living in? Anyway, so Reb Saadia Gaon said, so I accepted on myself this exile. And I went to a place nobody recognized me. And when I was walking on the road, so I saw there was an inn. And I saw there was a mezuzah on the door. And I went and I asked the owner if he could accommodate me. He said, sure. He gave me a room. He showed me a nice room, and he treated me very nice. In the morning, I paid him and I left. A couple of hours after I left, my pupils, some of my pupils, they were searching for me. They wanted to learn. They didn't want me to leave them. They wanted me to learn, and they came to this inn and they said, "Can you tell me, was Rabbi Saadia Gaon here?" And the teacher said, "Saadia Gaon." The teacher, the hotel owner said, "The great holy Saadia Gaon was here in my hotel. No way. How could it possibly be?" So, well, let me tell you what he looked like. He was about this tall and he had a beard. He was like, it looked like this, and this color of his hair. That's it. So I don't believe it. He was just here. He was here. Just really was here. The owner of the place immediately ran outside, jumped on his horse. Jews usually didn't ride on a horse. They ride a wagon. And he ran after me, he rode after me, galloped after me. He caught up with me on the road, came down from the horse, and bowed down to my feet, started kissing my feet, explained, "Rabbi, please forgive me. I'm sorry. I didn't know who you were." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "You're the great Rabbi Saadia Gaon. I didn't know you were." If I would, I said, "Listen, you treated me very nicely. You were very nice to me. What you treated me, you were very friendly, very nice, very honest and pleasant." And I said, "Yes, okay, it's true. I treated you well. But if I would have known who you are, I would have treated you in a totally different way." So I heard that and I thought about it. I thought about it. And I thought about it for a while, and I realized that's the same thing with me with God. I serve God, I love God, I do the commandments. That's yesterday. But today I thought about God in a wholly different way. I think to myself, wow, if I would have known, realized what God is last month, like I realize now, I would have served him in a totally different way. And that's why I was rolling around in the snow in order to have penitence for serving God in a way which was not befitting to him. Even though that I did very well, I did very nice, didn't do anything wrong. But if I would have known what God was yesterday, like I know today, I would have done it in a completely different way. That's the idea of tzaddikim doing tshuva. Have a good day with Mashiach now.